Consideration and possible action to approve the general demands for May 1, 2026 through May 14, 2026, in the amount of $195,106.12. A, consider,
Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the general demands for May 1st, 2026 through May 14th, 2026 in the amount of $195,106.12.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Sash moved to approve. Councilman Ryman seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Item 6B, or item 6A, I should say, town manager reports.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. In front of you, you have the report for today. We start with Capstone. We have a meeting this morning regarding to the project that was in conjunction created with ASU, the flooding to flourishing. And we're going to be continuing talking about this opportunity, how many phases we're going to be creating this project opportunity. If you remember, this project is coming from the green infrastructure. That was the last report presented by ASU. We talked to Ford today, and they're going to be having the registration of the vehicle this Thursday. Units should be in the street already Thursday night. And after the registration, of course, the insurance part is going to be available this Thursday. On the police department HVAC project, the mechanic contractor is going to be here Friday in the morning in conjunction to be working with the electrical contractor to create a quote for this project. The electrical project will start this week. We anticipate probably tomorrow. We present the requisition for the construction last week. Loading tanks and Maggie scan project is going to start on June 1st. Operation is going to be 7 days a week, between 12 to 14 hours. They're going to be presenting on June the 8th, the construction company, Tiffany Construction and Wilson. They're going to be here presenting all the details for the project. In relation, regarding to the $2.5 million matching fund, we received good news from the state of Arizona, specific from the representative from the District 7, Ms. Allen, that they identified the funding. It's going to be putting on the budget for July 1st. They anticipate a majority of the vote to agree with this funding that is not only for Miami, but for the city of Globe and the county on this collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6B, I'll start off with my things that I want to really talk about changed last Friday. I think late afternoon, early evening, I got a text message, or phone call, I forget, about the collapse of a dilapidated home here in Miami off of Nash Street. And that kind of opened up my understanding of the task that we have before us going forward with all the dilapidated homes, especially on the south side, the other side of Highway 60. It's going to be a big undertaking, but it's got to be done. Thank God nobody got hurt with that one over there in Nash. We also had an advisory committee where we finally got all of the packets together for the committee to look at, study, and be prepared to start planning their approach to the both the annexation. We want to study that, as I mentioned in the past, and we want to get going with the Blight project. See what we can do to really move it in a fashion that's safety related and effective. Because we've got a ton of work to do, and I don't want to see another house collapsing before we get it done. We had the committee meeting. It's going to be every third Wednesday. We invite the public to come see us, participate. It's at 10 o'clock every third Wednesday of the month. Okay? With that, I'll turn it over to Councilman Medina.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you can see, the hard copy that you should have, pretty extensive. I'll try and summarize it. Basically, what I'm saying is that I have an extensive history, all the way dating back to third grade in the Valley, where they were preparing us for either state or city government. And since then, I had been challenging something that kept coming to mind. We participate with the teachers during election time. Our teachers would have a kind of a vote within the class. Whatever the outcome was, that's the way the teacher was going to vote for us. So anyway, there was a lot of campaigning, a lot of education. And we were pulling for a particular mayor of Phoenix. And I can't remember his name right now. But he got the position. We were excited. And then in conversation and teaching us, they made a note that the mayor didn't run the city. And I got upset. I said, wait a minute, we just elected a new mayor and he doesn't run the city? No, you don't understand. I said, apparently not. They told me that the city manager more or less runs the city by the direction of the council. It took me all the way to my junior year in high school to finally realize where they were coming from. They finally did a good job of sinking it in here. And I saw the value of the manager and the council. You hear a lot about the mayors and the like, but the council, which people kind of put aside, they actually kind of run business through the manager. Anyway, I've got bullet points here, differences and all this and the like. I'll share this with the media if they're interested. And I'm trying to hurry up because you know me, I always like to jump into history. And a little history on that house on Nash. That house used to belong to Jerry Musgrave. I don't know if anybody remembers Jerry Musgrave. Fossil used to be on the town council. Well, Fossil was asking for help because he couldn't live in that house anymore because it was condemned, or should have been condemned, and they finally condemned it. And he asked for help to take it down because he had no money. So we were looking at all kinds of avenues, trying to get some way to take that building down. Well, he was concerned about the porch coming down first, and it did. So it was kind of a preview of what happened on Nash. This porch came down and it blocked off the traffic for a while. Okay, they tried to get him because it's his property, and he said, well, what can I do? So we've been tackling that job forever until we forgot about it. And we knew that that house was going to come down someday. And I wasn't surprised when I heard that it finally came down. But kind of a catch-22 some of the contractors that I spoke to, they said, you have no idea what a job that's gonna be to take it down. It's so close to the street, it's a 2-story building, and it's dangerous. You're gonna have to get some high lift equipment and start at the top, work your way down. Could you imagine the cost, the time, and so whatever it takes, help us, you know. So we went out there reaching out for monies, and other things would come up, and we finally lost interest, I guess. So anyway, I thought I'd throw that into the history part of my report. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Councilman Monk.
Yeah. First, we'll start with the neighborhood watch. Good news, we now have a group chat in progress on Facebook groups. The name Miami Neighborhood Crime Watch. It is totally unanimous, open to the friends and neighbors in the Miami Neighborhood Watch area. We have been instrumental in working with the Miami Police Department on cracking down on suspicious behavior and illegal drug activity throughout the town, keeping the homeless out of abandoned houses in the community. Give a personal thank you to the callers and those involved in the community. Special group chats that we have. Let's keep the communication open on the new group chat, and Miami Hot Stellar Pool is now open. Call Miami Town Hall for activities and pool hours. The Miami Memorial Library has a new facelift, mural painted on the entrance, very beautiful. Check it out. A girl named Jordan is painting that. Real nice lady. I got a picture of it. Soon be on social media. A note from the town manager, Alexis Rivera, and Police Chief Manuel Hernandez. Manager Alexis Rivera and Police Chief Hernandez, affiliated with the Neighborhood Crime Watch, the town of Miami, who persist in their commitment to the safeguard and promoting the well-being of our residents and business proprietors by enforcing the following curfew law for minors under the Town of Miami Code Section 9.149.10 prohibits for any minor child under the age of 18 to be in and about or upon any place in the city away from the property where the child resides after 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday until 5 a.m. the next day, and 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturday nights until 5 p.m. the next day. Remember, if you see something, say something. Neighborhood Watch Captains Dan Moon and Gary Lopez, our phone numbers are below. Contact the town hall. If you see something, definitely say something. On my second agenda item, I would like to address Mayor Madrid, Town Manager Rivera, Police Chief Hernandez, and following council members. I would like to bring attention to an incident that happened during our last town council meeting on May 11th, involving a former resident of our community, Richard Horta, where pictures of him landed in the local newspaper, Globe Miami Times, holding up 2 stop signs in protest of Councilman Medina's report of History of Miami that I found very disturbing, and his unacceptable behavior was embarrassing. We had people in here giving presentations of business, and we had to go through that. why would he want to protest a great thing like mining history in Miami? And the history of the Copper Corridor about the comparison of Miami to Salar, Kearney Ray mines that in the 1800s has brought hundreds of mining jobs and settlers to our area. He didn't even wait to hear what Councilman Medina's report was about. He just started yelling, "Stop, stop. We don't want to hear it. You are wasting our meeting time and our taxpayer money." Was this a personal attack on Councilman Medina or the great history of the town of Miami? Which was it? What was he protesting? With the loud outburst and waving signs, another total disruption of our council meeting. The food and grocery tax you pay to put food in the mouth that disrupts our council meetings is paid in Maricopa County. The fuel and gas tax you pay for travel over 100 miles round trip to disrupt our council meetings is paid in Maricopa County. The property tax that you pay on your house in the Gilbert Chandler area is paid to Maricopa County. So how can you possibly say in protest and total violation of code conduct and meeting laws that Councilman Medina's reports of history of the town of Miami is a waste of taxpayer money and dollars? It doesn't make sense to me. Last month, on my April Neighborhood Crime Watch newsletter, featured a picture of Chief Hernandez and myself standing beside our new police interceptor vehicles that I posted on Globe Miami social site. And above the picture, I text MMAGA, make Miami, Arizona great again. Mr. Horta commented and made false accusations that I was a lawbreaker and should be handcuffed and locked up in jail for using government equipment, props, in an election year, and your MMAGA campaign slogan was illegal. Get rid of it. That's not a campaign slogan. It's my job as a councilman to make Miami, Arizona great again. This place used to be a boomtown. Then he started to harass and make false accusations to my friends and family on my personal Facebook page, saying I was a lawbreaker and the chief and town manager should be locked up with me for going along with it. Mr. Horta, you are the only one on this planet that I have ever had to block from my Facebook page. At this time, I see his unacceptable behavior escalating. He shows no respect for council members and consistently violating conduct meeting laws with no reprimands or no warnings. I know that this keeps going on over and over. It's people with disruptive behavior. Why the weapon metal detectors are commonplace in town halls, courthouses, and federal buildings, and often they are finally installed. It's usually too late after the fact of a disaster. I will refuse to attend a council meeting without an official law officer present in fear of my own personal safety when Horta is present. I request a vote on implementing the call to the public request to speak forms on the next meeting agenda. Action ARS 38-431.02H and 38431 .01H. And if possible, violation be put on the meeting forms for law violation warning. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Stewart?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to take a moment to clarify how our town government functions, because misunderstandings about our structure have created concern within the community. The town of Miami operates under the council manager system. And in this model, residents elect the town council, and the council is responsible for setting policy, establishing priorities, and determining the overall direction of the community. The council may select one of its members, to serve as a mayor, whose duties are largely ceremonial, presiding over meetings, signing official documents, and representing the town in public events. The town manager, by contrast, is a professional administrator hired by the council. The manager oversees daily operations, supervises departments such as police, fire, parks, and public works, prepares the budget, and ensures that the council policies are implemented effectively. This system is designed to keep day-to-day operations free from political influence. It ensures that trained professionals manage the town's business while elected officials focus on long-term policy and community priorities. Arizona law clearly outlines what council members may and may not do. Council members cannot supervise employees or manage departments. They may not interfere with town managers' administrative responsibilities, including hiring, firing, and budgeting. They cannot act independently, as authority exists only when the council acts as a body in the public meeting. They may not assume duties assigned to the mayor. They must operate within the powers granted by statute. They must avoid conflict of interests and incompatible positions. These rules protect fairness, transparency, and the integrity of our local government. There have also been claims that the council does not support the mayor. This is not accurate. If that were the case, you would see no votes, stalled initiatives, and lack of progress. Instead, we have a strategic plan, active committees, and improvements such as senior center repairs, all of which required council approval. Recently, there has been an increased interest in call to the public. It is important to understand that this item is discretionary. Municipalities may include it or not. Regardless, residents always have multiple ways to reach their elected officials: by phone, email, or in person. I make myself readily available. Monday through Friday, I'm at the Bullion Plaza Museum. On weekends, I'm often at our store on Sullivan Street. If you have questions, concerns, or feedback, I'm always willing to listen. Call to the public allows residents 3 minutes to speak on matters within the council's jurisdiction. The council does not censor speakers. Likewise, council members have the right to provide reports during meetings. While everyone may not be interested in these reports, the right to speak is fundamental. Some have suggested that the town manager's salary is excessive. Well, let's compare that with a haul truck operator in our area. The average wage for a haul truck operator is about $110,000 a year, plus bonuses. Likely, an assistant human resource manager, their salary is about $115,000 a year, and they get to work from the comfort of their home. These positions have no responsibility for public safety, municipal operations, or finances. The town manager has already brought over $4.5 million into this town. And I'll say it again. The town manager has brought over $4.5 million into this town. I'll even break it down for you. $1.9 million is in WIFA funds. $1.1 million is for stakeholders and was largely responsible for the Hostetler Pool renovation. $1.1 million was for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at DEMA, and the rest were in small grants. There was a question for the need of a finance director. Most municipalities employ a finance director or equivalent professional. This role is essential for managing accounting, payroll, audits, compliance, budgeting, and long-term financial planning. It is not a luxury. It is a critical component of responsible governance. Now, we must address a larger issue, the long-term decline of our town. Miami has struggled for years, and part of the challenge is that we have not clearly defined our identity. Are we a mining town? A tourist destination? Something else? We must decide who we are today and who we want to become. We cannot rely on nostalgia or hope to bring back the old days. We must decide who we are today and who we want to become. At present, many buildings that could support businesses are being used for storage, left to deteriorate, or priced far beyond their value. There are no incentives for owners to rehabilitate or sell them. Zoning laws are not consistently enforced. Insurance is difficult or cost prohibitive to obtain. And we lack a published flood mitigation plan. These issues directly affect our ability to attract investment. Example, if somebody invests $1 million into a building, such as those compared to maybe the Real Market, Howling Javelina, or the Wild Horse Saloon, they expect to recover that investment within about 3 to 7 years. And that's pretty much an accounting standard. So here's how the numbers shake out. If you want a 3-year return on your $1 million investment, you're going to have to come up with $333,000 a year in annual profit over 3 years. A 5-year return, about $200,000 in annual profit over 5 years. And a 7-year return requires roughly $143,000 in annual profit over 7 years. These figures illustrate the financial realities that potential investors face. Folks, at the end of the day, everything we've discussed comes down to one simple truth. Good government only works when everybody understands their roles and respects the structure that keeps our town running. In the council manager system, the council leads through policy, and the manager leads through administration. That balance isn't a flaw. It's the very design that protects fairness, professionalism, and accountability in our town. There has been talk, speculation, and misunderstanding on how this council operates, about the mayor, about public comment, and even about salaries. But facts speak louder than rumors. The council has supported progress. You can see it in the strategic plan, in the committees, in the repairs and improvements already underway. You can see it in the work we do every week, whether or not it makes the headline. Let me be clear. Your voice matters. Call to the public is one avenue, but it's not the only avenue. I've always made myself available at the museum, at our store, by phone, by email, in person. If you want to talk, I I will listen. That's my commitment to you. We've also talked tonight about the challenges facing Miami, the economic decline, the vacant buildings, the lack of incentives, the barriers to investment, the absence of a clear identity. These are not small issues. And they will not be solved by nostalgia or wishful thinking. They will be solved by honest conversations about who we are, who we want to become, and what we are willing to change to get there. If we want new businesses, we must create conditions where investment makes sense. If we want revitalization, we must enforce standards and support responsible development. If we want Miami to grow, we must stop looking backward and start building forward. So as I close tonight, I ask you to remember this. We are all on the same team. The council, the manager, the mayor, and most importantly, the people of Miami. Our success depends on understanding the system, respecting the process, and working together with clarity, honesty, and purpose. Miami's got potential, real potential. But potential only becomes progress when a community chooses to move forward together. I believe we can do that. And I believe we must do that. And I believe the best days are still ahead of us. Thank you.
Okay. Item 7, call to the public. Pursuant to Arizona Revised Statutes 38-431.01, at this time, members of the public may address the town council on any issue within the council's jurisdiction that is not on the agenda. There is a 3-minute limit for each speaker. The council's response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Council members are not permitted to discuss or take legal action on a matter raised during the call to public.
Mayor, Council, after hearing all the falsehoods and lies by Councilman Moe, and also the fact that the town manager didn't want the strategic plan, we still have a lot of work to do, and I'm glad you all and you realized it. I would rather be speaking tonight about positive accomplishments, but I can only report on what I see and hear coming from this council. Nothing personal. I just care about the people of Miami. The people elected you to help and protect them. The people did not elect you to make them sit through a self-serving and ineffective storytime history lesson that is wasting taxpayer money. The people did not take time out of their evening to listen to a history lesson, and I was accused of causing a disturbance. Even a colleague of yours sitting next to the performer said that all he hears coming from their side of the dais is noise. I agree with you, Councilman. Then 2 of your colleagues violated the state of Arizona election laws by using town property while running for re-election and were not prevented from doing so. I guess it's laws for me, but not for thee. They did not elect you to allow budget questions to go unanswered by the person responsible for answering them. And why are the town's financial statements 2 years past due? It states this on the town website. Did any of you check the website? Was the council briefed on this? If so, what were you told? Are you not concerned about budgetary blind spots? Let's see if this ever gets addressed. This council has done nothing regarding these shameful actions. and you say that you care about the people of Miami, let's see which one of you will back up your words with action. Not sure if the moniker of the Miami Clown Council, which was a long time ago, ever disappeared, but it sure has reared its ugly head. Again, nothing personal. I'm just petitioning this body for a redress of grievances. The people are calling out for help. Stop wasting taxpayer money. Storytelling is not in your job description. Protect and serve the people. Thank you.
Anyone else? Nobody? Oh, go ahead, Richard.
Good evening, Mayor and council members, as well as Miami community. Richard Ramos, Superintendent, Miami Unified School District, 4739 East Regis Road. I'm going to change directions here tonight and celebrate something because we're receiving a lot of attention from all over the state of Arizona right now, and I want to make sure the town council and the community of Miami is a part of it. We're having an AI summit. It's kind of unheard of in this area, but we're bringing people from all over the state of Arizona right here to the Miami Unified School District, and those people are probably going to eat in this community as well. It's from 8:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon on July 15th, and listen to the keynote speakers that are coming to right here, our very town. The executive director of the Arizona Institute for Education and the Economy is coming, and he's going to open our keynote with a motivational speech starting at 9 o'clock. And then after that, we're going to break out into various sessions. We're going to have 3 sessions with 5 different presentations during each session. So you'll have choice on which presentation you want to go to. There will be 15 presenters, everything from digital literacy all the way over to using artificial intelligence in the workplace. So there's something for everyone. And then after the 3 sessions, we will have lunch. Lunch will be provided. In addition to that, we will also have another keynote speaker coming from Arizona State University, the Vice President of Student Services and Outreach, Dr. Quentin Boyce will join us, and he'll bring us to a close that afternoon. Currently, we have 70 participants from all over southern Gila County. We're trying to get to 100 because we're bringing such powerhouse keynote speakers here. And so we need members of the community. And so when I post and there's an opportunity to go ahead and register, please, we want you to be there. We want to be partners with you, and we want to work with you, of course. This is a huge event for the community. It's our opportunity to shine, and this gives us all an opportunity to move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to that. Anybody else?
Hi guys, my name's Trinity Murchie. I live over at 780 West Woodrow. I'm a fan of what you guys do. Thank you. Like most people, I'm up here because I'm a little bit frustrated by something. In December, our trash and sewer services were voted to have a 10% increase, which is totally fair. I understand it. We are run on inmate services. They got a raise. That makes sense. I mean, the dump truck broke down today, right? We need to have a budget for that. Totally makes sense. However, I saw a 33% increase in my bill this month. It went from something I know to be an average pay for sewer and trash, and I've lived in notoriously expensive areas, and it was still the average pay, which I could stomach, even though we don't have recycling, we don't have compost, we only have trash and sewer. That is okay. I know we need it. However, I'm paying a 33% increase in my bill. Meanwhile, the trash is thrown all over my driveway, and that's when I'm lucky enough to have my garbage cans actually emptied. Half the time they're only halfway emptied, and I'm following the rules. They're well under 50 pounds. They're bagged. I'm a responsible citizen, and so It's just a little frustrating that here in Miami, we're paying more for a lot less. Not sure if there's anything you guys can do about it. Don't even know who to turn to talk to. I just thought, hey, I'm going to bring it up tonight. So again, big show that you guys do. Appreciate it.
Anybody else?
I have a comment, Mr. Horta. You cannot deny what you said on the social media, slandering my name as a lawbreaker
I said you broke the
and
law.
falsely accusing me of voter rights and a fictitious photograph that you held as being illegal, taken with the chief of police. That was for my neighborhood crime watch.
No,
Yeah,
you can't use anything. Town car,
that
nothing.
was not for
It
any
doesn't matter.
campaign.
It doesn't matter.
Let's get some order here.
I'll get up there.
Yeah, you already had your 3 minutes.
Well, what do you have?
Mayor,
I can,
Mayor Colorado, please.
Let's move on.
Yes.
no, let's not move on.
Oh, you have
You're not
thoughts for
gonna
you,
slander
not for
my
me.
name.
I didn't slander
Make me look
nothing.
bad.
Come on, let's move on.
Him too.
Okay? Decorum. We're not getting anywhere with
Yeah.
yelling at each other. As long as we have decorum, you can speak. Okay?
There were comments made about no financial statements. Just want the public to know, we receive a detailed financial statement every month, month by month, what our expenditures are, where we stand in respect to the budget, and where our money is going, and where it's being accounted for. What is behind is the audit of the financial statement. And that's not an abnormal situation, particularly in this small town environment. We did have a manager that had zero financial experience, and he didn't pursue that. That's being corrected. We have received 1 year coming up, and a year in which we received an actual audit opinion, which is the first time that that's occurred in since I've been here, nearly 20 years. It's quite a milestone. It gives us financial credibility that we would like in the past. The current audits are in progress. We are making payments to the auditor. Another factor that complicated it was the death of the partner in the county did our audits. We lost continuity there. Was other things happened. But the idea that we're running a clock without monthly and annual financial statements is a misunderstanding or a lack of research on the part of those people who started that information.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on. Item 8, unfinished business. 8A, information, discussion, and possible action. Consideration of possible approval of revised, updated economic development director job description.
Mayor and council, in front of you, you have a note about the primary functions that is gonna be adding to the Economic Development Director, Assistant Town Manager, and there's those 4 areas that I wanna assign for the assistant, and the reason behind that is to have more time to get involved in the budget, trial balance, and those elements that is necessary of the day-to-day operation of the town of Miami, in addition to rely those grants below the threshold of 15,000. We're losing opportunity to create a better town, to have a strong financial element, and and retake all the necessary repairs of buildings like we did with the roof, air conditioning. We have more to do. And this assistance creating those opportunity in those areas can give it to me more opportunity to attack other elements that we need to get a better. We are the better, but we want to achieve more as a town.
Mayor, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Alexis, what kind of salary are you going to propose for them?
We have we're not creating increase in the budget of that line item. It's about 53.5, 53,500.
And is it going to go up to,
With the benefit of 72,000.
okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Council?
I'd like to make a motion if we can. Senator Gusson.
Alexis, I do have a little bit of concern about the supervision received and exercised. I believe that since this is an assistant town manager, that if you're not going to be available on some of these items, especially when we're looking at direction or strategies that the council is looking at, I would like to see the supervision under council, since it does have a managerial abbreviation next to it. So this way we have better communication, because if you're not involved in something that we normally would come and speak to you about with your assistant, we won't have that opportunity, because once again, council doesn't work. The employees don't work for council. So I would like to recommend that that this position falls under the direction of council.
To answer that, Vice Mayor, that's the reason I simplified those areas, because the assistant town manager can inform me what was accomplished and then passing through that information to mayor and council. If you look at areas that we presenting, they're not on the managerial, and they're not going to be working with the day-to-day of the staff member that going to continue with me. But some areas like the procurement, the grants, and continue the conversation and the liaison with other agencies is necessary in order for us, because we're growing financially with grants like Councilman Stewart presented. We are $47 million and with a potential of $2.5 million, and that required another level of accounting, and that's what I want to be involved. That accounting works, CFA 200 federal element, we need to be continue having good reviews, good audits. That's the reason I'm minimizing those elements that don't require any direct report to the mayor and council. I continue reporting on the day-to-day operation of the mayor of the town of Miami.
Well, under the general description, it does encompass that, where it is the day-to-day when we're talking about sustainability and growth of community. It also encompasses supporting local businesses, targeting opportunities for business expansion, encouraging new enterprises, and recommending policies that will optimally position the town for success. So when we're talking about recommending policies, that's the council's jurisdiction on that.
Yes.
And so it is part of, not like you stated, there is that you added, but in this position, as you're stating, it still does include where there's policies that, of course, has to be directed by council. So once again, that's just my opinion. There's 6 others here, but if we go in this direction, as an assistant town manager, without them reporting to the council, I would vote no on this. But if you take out that assistant town manager part, just leave the economic development director, I would vote yes for it. But that's my stance on this new description of the economic development assistant town manager.
Together, I have some to offer as well. was looking at the tentative budget, the most recent budget, and I'm counting all of the grants that are on here. In the first row, the adopted budget from 25-26, we had $50,950,500 worth of grants. When we counted, there's, I'm sorry, let me go over to the total grants first. There's 45 of those that we have on a list here. And then in the adopted budget, we were down to 21 grants to get 51 million. And then when we go over to the proposed budget, we're looking at 126 million with this new budget. That is about 30, based on 36 grants. And when we talk about, trying to get a grant, a person that's just strictly working on grants, we can get this done in a way that we can feel really satisfied and we're going to hit a lot of our targets. And it's not going to cost us anything because the person that's doing the grant pursuits is going to get a percentage of the grant. And what bothers me is that the Director of Economic Development, that person, that role is so important for us moving forward. To get Miami moving in the right direction, we have to have someone consistently working and working with developers, with estimators, with all of the folks that get involved with it. Some that are individuals, a lot of them are contractors that want to help us out. There's a lot of opportunity there, but we have to have someone working that issue 100% of the time, not throwing in 50% or more on going after grants instead of working where we need that person to be working. I really feel that if we do this the way it's proposed, and I can understand why it looks like it could be good, but it really bothers me to throw out the opportunity of having a full-time grant person that's been doing it for years and has all kinds of connections in the federal side and the state side. Those are the kind of people that can get it done and make us all happy to see that we're hitting our targets in a way that it's not costing us anything. And we have our economic director that's out there working with everybody, moving Miami forward. That's such an important role, and we can't wait to have a 100% grant person, and we can't wait to have 100% director of economic development. We need them now. We don't need them later. We don't need to try to have one person doing it on both ends, because you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to be focused on this, but focused on that, but not really getting the job done, in my opinion. And I have to agree with Councilman Gonzalez as well on not letting the council do it. If we're going to have an assistant town manager, it's got to work for us, not against us.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
a couple of questions. Alexis, in your experience, how many grants have an administrative payback function in them? 20%, 30%?
Most of the-
50%?
Yeah, it's up to 28%, and most likely you're gonna see that on the private sector. For example, CAC, when they present a grant for the town of Miami, they have the 28%. They receive it, not us. USDA, NRCS, EWP, they receive a 30% of the administration cost of the grant. Of those $7.9 million, they're gonna have about $300,000 administration costs they're gonna be for them.
For them,
For
right?
them.
Not
Not
for
coming
the
from the town of
grantee.
Miami. Exactly.
Okay.
For the 100% of the grants that we receive, we don't see that percentage coming to us. Deep on federal and state.
So it goes elsewhere.
Exactly. Arizona local first, the same element. 28% of the administration cost of the grant is going to them. Having a grant, and I want to be respectful on the statements from Mayor and Vice Mayor. When you see the history of the town of Miami, how many grants they got 6-7 years ago was zero. I'm doing that now. I'm managing the town and I'm bringing the grants. And I'm lacking on the actions on supervising the budget, trial balance, and those elements that are important for our audits to maintain a fiscal operation. That's the reason I'm presenting this opportunity to have an assistant town manager that I can focus more in our budget and maintain that quality that we're offering right now. And I understand the message from Mayor and Vice Mayor, but take my position as an example. When your town manager before was 8 to 5, Monday to Friday, how many things was accomplished versus today? Because I'm breaking down a lot of elements that are necessary for this town. This is an opportunity that we can continue progressing and bring the financial element to have a grant writer. Because grant writers, yes, it's necessary for the operation, but they require a funding sources for that. For example, Globe, Pache Junction, Superior, the sales tax allow them to have a grant writer. They allow them to have an assistant, a director, economic director, because the sales tax allow them. We're not there yet. That's where we want to go.
I just want to make this clear, Alexis. I'm not against this, I'm for it. What I am is who they work for, being as assistant manager. I agree 100% with you. So I just want to make that clear that I'm not against having this. What I am against is it working as an assistant manager under your direction when it's still the manager that should be under council. I just want to make that clear to you, because your statement with the mayor and myself didn't make it clear that you thought I was against it. I'm not against it. I'm just against who they work for. So for the record, if you can state that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. My understanding is that if we wanted to pursue the vice mayor's line of thought, would we not have to make this position a contract position? Because if it's a staff position, council can do nothing with staff. We have no way, shape, or form that we should be interfering with that. So, am I reading that? Am I reading into that correctly?
Yes, that's correct. It's a contract position.
I have a question. If we did hire an assistant town manager as a grant writers get paid a lot of money for their job. How would this fit in cooperation with him agreeing to that as a certified grant writer?
If you look at the document that I present on the private functions, this person is going to be entitled on the $50,000 threshold below. They're not like pursuing millions of dollars in grant. And we continue having the economy developer director position. It's only that we're going to add those 4 other elements to assist the town manager. If you look at the paper, it's very clear on those 4 areas that we're gonna incorporate for the economy developers director. Yes, again, we don't have the capacity yet for a substantial salary on that position.
I'm all for it too. I think it's a great idea if we can afford it.
So is it fair to say that your approach here could be a stopgap until we can get to the point where we can legitimately spin off a full-time grant writer and then a full-time? So at least we can be doing something in the interim while we try and figure out funding sources and long-term plans so we can enact what you're trying to do.
That's correct. The most important part of the development of the town of Miami is the funding. We need to identify the revenue source in order to put it on the expense side. If we don't design that revenue, we're going to be continuing the same level as a government. And we need to break that glass. And that glass ceiling needs to be broken. We need to be a standard like the mayor and council request, lobbyists. We heading to another level. When you have a lobbyist, when you want to create more opportunities, you need to break something. And that's what we're doing right now.
You have a lobbyist in our budget?
Yes.
Federal?
No. Local.
Local's not gonna get us where we need to get. The money is in Washington. I've repeated what I've learned from Globe and from Superior and a few others. And they've had a lot of success with the lobbyists. And they're using the same one. And they're paying, last time I got a number from them, it was $68,000 for the lobbyists. And they were getting in return an average of 5 times that amount.
Mayor, respectfully, and remember that it's not, and the lobbyist conversation is not on the agenda right now.
And this one that you're talking about getting stayed, is that the group that we had that conference with?
We can, after the meeting, we can talk about that, Mayor, because it's not an agenda item, the lobbyist conversation.
Not an agenda item? It's in the budget.
That's correct. We're talking about, excuse me, it's about the economic developer director positions right now. To continue the conversation on that topic.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, right here. I don't think I quite understand Councilman Vice Mayor Gonzalez's point. I don't know how to phrase the question. I don't know what your objection to having the economic director report to the town manager and act as assistant manager if the town manager is incapacitated. I got the impression that you were saying, and then later said some other things which made me wonder. What I thought you were saying is that the council would have opportunities and need to talk to this person because of the council's activities in respect to policy making and goal setting for economic development. I don't see how that goes away regardless of whether that person also has some managerial responsibility. Let's start with that part of the question.
Yeah, so since it's assuming some of the town manager's job description, the town manager does work for council. And so since some of that duty is going to be related to the assistant, then I believe that that should fall under council's, where they report to council, because some of those job descriptions that he's relaying as an assistant, in case he's not here, incapacitated, then how can council approach a town manager and tell them what to do if they're not working for council? Then we can't speak to anybody.
Okay, I guess it's a difference between short-term and
Yeah.
long-term.
Yeah, but there is duties in there.
Gone for a week kind of thing,
Yeah.
I don't see that as a problem.
But there is duties that are in there.
If they're
that's
gone
being-
for a month or gone, yeah, that could be an issue. But if you're assuming the role of the town manager for that time period, it would seem like it's inherent in the description that for that time period, you do report to the council.
Yeah, and the Department of, the Economic Development, you know, that's okay, I'm okay with that, but anything that deals with town manager's duties or job as an assistant town manager, like I said, I believe they need a report, but like I said, the Economic Development, no worries, but when you start assuming responsibilities of the town manager, that, where I feel, that's just my opinion, that falls under council's control.
A thought, if I may. Right now, if, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not done.
My apologies.
That was part one question. And then secondly, I'm hearing, well, grant writers, and they make money, and we have this need for an ongoing coordination with contractors, investors, whatever, with business development side. And of course, our major money is, we don't have any money. So which services do you want to give up to pay for all of this new stuff that's going to make us wonderful?
It's not all, it's one. It's one person that's gonna take control of all the grants. Just like Globe's doing, just like Superior's doing, and probably the rest of Arizona. Let me finish, you asked me a question. And that person is going to be in the 6-digit scenario, but it's going to be getting us more money during the year, because it's going to be a full-time person working on every possible grant that they can go after. And what have we been doing up until now? We've been having Alexis, our town manager, trying to find the time to do it himself. And he's been hiring some folks, I guess, unless they were doing it for free, to help him out on some of this stuff. I'm saying, it's time for us to move forward. Don't tell me we don't have money. We do have the money to do it. And this is the point in time in the copper corridor where all of it's going to be going to be busy. Globe is going to be expanding. We need to be a part of that. And we need a director of economic development that is concentrated on it. If that person is going to be doing maybe 10% of his or her time on grants, then I'll accept it. But if that person starts, having to do 50, 60% of the time on grants, then they're not getting their job done. We're missing out on opportunities of growth with people that we need to have interacting with to get Miami moving forward. And I just don't see why we have to fight over one person that's going to be taking care of all the grants. Not fight, but disagree. Okay?
Well, I'm just saying to understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree with you. But you seem to be saying two different things. You're saying we want this grant writer that just chases grants all over. And then you talk about another job of economic development as if they're two different jobs. And then you say, well, they're only one job. That's where I get lost.
I did not say there was one job. You misunderstood me. That is not one job. That one job is what I'm against. What we're trying to do is hire a replacement for our economic development and giving that person more responsibility on grants instead of working on economic development issues that are highly demanding full-time work. It's not something that you're going to gain if you're going to have that person 50% of their time going after grant money. They're not going to be getting anything done because they need full-time planning and interacting with all the right people at the right time.
I got that. I'm talking about economic development activities dealing with contractors and investors and all that. Is that the same job?
Yeah, it's the same job. They're working with people to try to get
They're not a full-time
investors. It is a full-time job. What are you talking about?
As you said it, it's a full-time grant writer.
A full-time grant writer is a full-time job because they're going after grants continuously. And it's a you know, if you don't believe me, why don't you go ask the people that are doing it in Globe and in Superior. They're making money the right way. And we're not.
I've been doing this for 14 years. Please give me a little bit of respect for having some sense. Just because you and I don't agree off the bat.
I'm not throwing you under the bus here. I'm trying to tell you, you keep asking me why I think we need.
I keep asking you what it is you're saying.
What is it you can't understand? It's an economic director.
One job that does grants and all the other coordination. That one person, one job. Is that correct?
The economic development's one person, one job. The grants is one person, one job. That's two people.
That's what I said earlier, and you said, no, it's one job.
No, you
We got a
misunderstood.
recording of it.
It will be one person trying to do two jobs if we agree to what is being proposed.
Okay, so that's the difference. You think it's two people, two jobs. And this combines the two jobs. That's the essence. Now I understand.
I'm sorry I wasn't clear.
Me too.
I thought I was. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor? Okay, thank you. My name is Carol Broder. I live at 525 West Sullivan Street in beautiful historic downtown Miami. There's a question that's been burning in my brain since the last meeting that I wanted to get up and ask about a grant writer. And especially the mayor, what I keep hearing especially from the mayor, is that the town of Miami could hire a grant writer, and they would basically create their own salary in the sense that they would get a portion of, if they're successful in writing a grant and getting the funds, then they would be paid through that. Okay? What I can't wrap my head around right now, okay, and because that sounds wonderful. That sounds like a no-brainer, and it sounds good on paper, but what I can't wrap my head around, okay, is, and I'm not hearing anybody ask when the mayor says it or somebody else might say it, is that even feasible or possible for a municipality to do? Because what I'm hearing, okay, is that the town would hire someone, and if they do not write grants successfully for months or a year or more, they're not getting paid anything. Okay? And is that something a municipality could do? Even with a contractor? I don't, somehow I doubt it. Okay? Or would the town need to offer this person, this grant writer, at least a basic salary? And what about benefits? My guess is that the town would have to offer this grant writer benefits as well. And if I'm wrong, please tell me, but I would appreciate it if somebody could look into that and answer the question, okay? Thank you.
So if I may, the question I have is, it's my understanding that, if Alexis is incapacitated for any length of time, does not the town manager position temporarily fall to our town clerk, who is contracted, who does work for the council directly? Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so we could theoretically, we could say with this position that in the event that there is an incapacitation of the town manager, the assistant is not eligible to replace him, and it still falls to our town clerk, giving the council jurisdiction, if you will, over that position. Does that make any sense? We just put it right in the job description. And, sure, you can be the assistant, but in the event of a long-term disability or something, hey, it still falls to our town clerk. And therefore, we keep a chain of jurisdiction. And we're not violating any statutes by trying to control a staff position.
If that's the motion, I'll second it.
Could be.
That wasn't a
Wait a minute, we have some questions, I think, Mr. Mayor.
Hey.
All right, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Jordan Reardon, I use the courthouse address, 1400 East Ash Street. Just a quick comment, when we're talking about this concern, I can certainly speak for Gila County government. We just went through this. The county manager obviously answers to the board of supervisors. The county manager is no longer there, so the assistant or deputy county manager is assigned as interim. So if it's this true incapacitation, if you're concerned about it, if Alexis were out for 6 months, once you designate them as interim, you have that oversight, that you have that control over them. So the other thing, a comment I would make is, I'm fairly certain, the city of Globe, for example, there's an assistant city manager. In every form of council, manager, government that I'm aware of, everybody falls under the manager. So city of Phoenix, for example, there's the city manager, 2 assistant city managers, and 6 deputy city managers. They all answer to the manager. The council has no oversight over any of them. And so, again, you're covered by, if they are, somebody vacates that, if they're ill, vacation, whatever. Typically, like with the county manager, when he was going to be out of state and wasn't here, he would designate, the assistant county manager will be covering for, I'll be gone for this period of time, here's your point of contact. That obviously opens it up for the board to interact with. In this context, that would open it up for council to be able to interact with. Just a comment for consideration.
Thank you.
I also checked on the town website. The town manager doesn't have carte blanche. You, as a council, have to monitor that person.
Mayor.
Go ahead.
So, after listening to Judge Reardon, if Alexis was gone for any period of time, the assistant is automatically going to have to report to us no matter what. Am I right?
If he's designating them, correct.
So he's designating them to be there. And if something happens to him, it's not a matter of her not doing it. She has to do it. She will fall under us if he designates her to be the assistant while he's gone.
But then how does that align with the state statutes? That's where I get confused.
So you've authorized the town manager to run the day-to-day operations of the town pursuant to the town code. We can go to the town code, which discusses the authority he or she has. I don't know of any statutory prohibition against the town manager directing or designating someone in his or her foreseeable absence for a designated period of time. If that answers your question, there's not a statutory
Okay, so we wouldn't get
prohibition
in trouble
against
if Alexis decided to say, hey, it's okay for council to interact with this person.
Correct.
Okay, that was just my concern, so thank you.
Go ahead.
So now let me get more clarification if I can on this. So if Alexis is gone out of town, or if Alexis just for a day or two, then, and even though we have an assistant town manager, who's in charge? Is it the town clerk, since she works for council, or is it the assistant town manager? Or do we have to designate, then council has to designate who he leaves in charge?
So if he's out of town, he still could be managing from, remotely from a distance, unless he's going to be unavailable.
Yeah, if he's at a meeting
Right?
and whatnot.
If he's unavailable, then in the absence of an express designation, it would be the town clerk, right? Let's say there was an unforeseeable absence, right? Something happens where out of his control, he wasn't able to say, hey, I'm going to be gone for this period. It would fall to the town clerk. Okay.
That's why I need clarification, because if you have an incident that happens, they can't get a hold of him, who takes charge or who makes decisions when they can't reach the
Yeah,
town
in the
manager?
absence of an express designation, it would be the town clerk.
So follow our code.
Okay, yeah, that's what, I just needed clarification on that it doesn't fall to the assistant. The second person still in charge is the town clerk. Okay.
Yes.
But if we had an assistant.
Mayor, I would like to make a motion. The consideration and possible approval of the revised and updated economic development director job description.
Second.
Mayor, can I have council members slash clarify that motion?
I'm just reading it, what's on here.
Right, so is your motion to approve?
Yes.
To approve it?
Yes, for possible approval of revised and updated economic
Possible
development.
approval or to approve? You move-
Approval.
You move to approve. Okay.
That's written. You need me to read the rest of it? Okay.
No, but you read it how I put it on the agenda. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are approving it.
For approving. And second.
Right.
Who was our second?
Me.
Thank you.
Request clarification. You're approving this job description?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. This one, whichever one we were handed.
Okay, Councilman Sash motioned it, Councilman Stewart seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Nay.
Thank you.
I'm a nay. I hope we don't regret that. Okay. That was a wonderful item. Item 8B, that's council discussion, possible action regarding the HVAC Police Department progress. Alexis, we had June, middle of June date if you were targeted. You're going to get it?
As I mentioned earlier in the report, it's showing that the operation for the electrical is already going this week, tomorrow, in place. And this Friday, the HVAC assessment is gonna be happening this Friday. That's in the report that I presented earlier.
Did they give you a timetable for the HVAC?
That information is gonna be requested on Friday,
Friday?
when there's a physical inspection.
Let me know when you get it.
Friday.
All right. Let's move on. Item new business, item 9A, information discussion, possible action, consideration, possible approval of fiscal year 2026/2027 tentative budget.
Mayor and council, in front of you, you have to approve two items, the budget, tentative budget, and the, our, operation for the town of Miami. The new position that we're gonna bring to the police department, need to be approved, and the tentative budget for 2026-2027. I want to clarify that, as you mentioned previously, yes, we have a line item for the lobbyist. In the grant area,
Page 29 you're talking about.
yeah, page 29. 90% of the grants that we are receiving is coming from my office. Only two small grants was with the support of Local First Arizona. But for the 4.7, eventually the 2.5, those are coming from the Town of Miami Town Manager Office. And yes, sometimes we need to put X amount of hours in order to accomplish and make the deadlines, but it is important for our municipality to continue and bring funding opportunity to create that solid town, solid future.
Any comments, council? Is this where I can talk about the lobby and stuff?
On the funding section of
So the lobbyist that you're talking about with the state is the one that we had a discussion with.
That's correct, and I'm gonna be brief. We need to understand that county, city of Globe, and other jurisdictions, they establish X amount of dollars for those lobbyists. Where we at today, we can be successful in Phoenix instead of to go to Washington. Right now, we put a grant in Washington for the police department, but on the appropriation bill, that's for 2027, and starting October 1st, we're gonna be receiving during the month of October the determination of that grant. But at the same time, we have more X dollars and better position with senators and representatives today than before. And we need to capitalize, take advantage of that element today. That's what we want. And steps, because when you see the history of the town of Miami, they never have lobbyists. This is a big step, this is a big element that we are doing in order to be competitive and have opportunity to have the voice, not only in the financial element, but any kind of element, the law that they want to establish.
What's the cost of that group?
We don't know yet, but we have a quote for a special project on the 20,000. 20,000, but it's in a project, it's a small project right now. Eventually, when the July 1st arrive, we're gonna have specific cost for the fiscal year.
Hey, Alexis, on the police department, are you looking at the budget, and I might have missed it maybe in some of the meetings and stuff, but on page 10, you anticipating purchasing more vehicles for $124,000, or what's your intentions on that line?
We want to lease 2 more vehicles. This incoming, yes. 4x4 truck, another Ford Interceptor.
Okay.
Yeah, the goal is for have 9 vehicles on the police department.
Any other comments, guys? You coming up? Good meeting. Okay, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Which one said second? You? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 9B. Information, discussion, possible action, consideration, possible approval of the call to the public, request to speak card, and rules addressing the town council. Councilman Cook? No?
Mayor and council, before we take action and bring the conversation, I want to bring the topic regarding to this agenda item. We want to analyze who's going to receive those cards if it's approved, and how we're going to be determining who and how and when is that person is going to talk. Keep in mind in that conversation, that element. If it's our town clerk, that means that we need to see how the operation of that element is going to be flowing. If we need to have that 30 minutes before the meeting start, those elements need to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to table this, to have a little meeting on it, and we'll decide a few things. But I definitely want to get that into legislation policy.
Second.
Okay, we move to table it. Councilman Moe, Medina, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Mayor and council, very important in the conversation, Councilman Moe, I recommended to have present the town clerk. It's necessary to have her input and see how this is going to be
Yeah, I
operated.
talked to her about it, but we never came to a definite decision. So we will, by the next meeting.
Okay. Moving on to, call to council, future agenda items. Anybody want to add? You're going to continue with mine. HVAC.
Okay.
Anybody? Go ahead.
First, I want to thank everybody that stayed here with us. 2 items I would kind of like to see on the agenda, and that is a follow-up on the speed issue that we talked about last time.
We're supposed to have the speed meter rather this week. They tuning in, putting in new batteries and all that. We're going to have a system in the highway.
Okay, but also I wanted to bring up an incident that I noticed several times, but I couldn't put my finger on it why. Over at the senior center, a lot of heavy equipment is flying through there, like intentionally running a red light. So I was following today, this one 18-wheeler with a heavy load, and he's trying to time the lights, I believe. So he came to the first light coming to town at a reasonable speed, maybe a little bit high. And the light over here at the senior center changed on it. And I know that he didn't have time to apply the brakes, neither did he. So he accelerated, if anything, trying to barely make the red light. And in my opinion, he didn't accelerate in time, and he ran that red light with plenty of time where somebody could have entered the road. And this has happened more than twice, but I couldn't put my finger on why are they running that light. My opinion is that that first light is throwing them off on their timing. Now, if that light there was flashing yellow or wasn't there at all, maybe they didn't have plenty of time to pay attention to the more important light here at the senior center. But I'm afraid there's going to be a fatality there sooner or later. So I just want to have you guys take note of that.
Can I address that real quick? Angel, this is part of the conversation when you redo the road, to either do away with it or immediately come home.
Yes, but I want to add a little more. I know what you're talking about. We talked about that. But I just want to add a little bit more fuel to the fire.
Mayor, like your question, agenda item, we discuss this whole plan along the street at the next meeting, so we can all understand what the proposals are, and so the public can have some visibility and perhaps respond to.
I agree with you, Councilman, but we don't know yet. We won't know exactly what ADOT's gonna do probably until after January the 1st.
Well, we don't know what's been done in this process, what the tentative plans might be.
Right. Kind of an update.
Get that on the agenda.
And the other thing was, actually two. I've been looking for that escape route, Mackey's Camp route up to Cherry Flats and then out. Well, I located it and I expected it to be in poor shape. And it's in fairly good shape from above. I was gonna drive it down, but I heard that there might be a gate down there, and I'd hate to drive down there to turn around and go back up. So anyway, I went back to Mackey's Camp, and I assumed that the road that would lead you to the old dump, I assumed that was the road that would take you up, and it's not. You have to actually go to make a left turn at Mackey's Camp, and then kind of a in-between road. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna take that route, go up there, and then I'll report on how that's doing. So I have a feeling that we have a plan if it works out. But, and then one more thing. While I was driving around, I was kind of curious about the fire that we had up here at the Helmut Way. And I went to see the mess, but apparently they cleaned it up. There's only 2 car bodies there, burnt car bodies. But I was really concerned about that road. There's some roads there that, if you're not aware of it, your vehicle can go into the ditch to the left up against the bank. I'm very concerned about that, so maybe if we can put at least a sign, some kind of a warning sign to warn the people. And then give Alexis a phone number on that sign. He didn't hear me. It's a joke. That's all I got. Thank you, folks.
All right. Councilman, you want to move to adjourn?
So moved. I made the motion, so moved.
Anybody else? All right, Councilman Medina made a motion to approve the adjournment. Councilman Ryan, I joined the name, I don't know which one. Ryman, seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you all for
Hey, Tom,
putting up.
what light are they saying they're gonna get rid of
Sharon,
the one at
do
the
you
senior
have the
center?
numbers on that?